Nice. All right.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
We're live for the first time ever.
I know, in person.
We're not really sure how things look or how things sound, but we can just kind of kill a couple minutes here of chatting, and hopefully people. Looks like we got a couple bodies on board here.
Oh.
Hopefully we can hear. If you guys can let us know in the chat if we sound okay.
Yeah.
I know we look great. I mean, we always look great, obviously.
Yeah.
But
we got the good filters going on. I'm just gonna go in on our end just to make sure like it looks good.
Yeah. Let's see. It says we've got a couple people watching right now, but I don't see anything coming up in the chat.
Hold on.
I'm probably gonna be able to hear you a little better, maybe. I don't know, but I can adjust this accordingly.
Yep, we're coming through
awesome.
Loud and clear.
Since we're just sharing a mic, you can hear me. You can hear me well through your phones.
Yep.
There? Okay, cool.
It looks perfect, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind on this, but yeah.
Well, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
So. All right. Let's get to it. EJ, take it away, buddy. We're live. Yeah. We're ready to go.
Let me just share this on our pages. You want to share that on your page real quick?
Yeah. We'll share it around. That's fine.
And then after that, we'll
Daniel Mason is here. What is up? That's
what is
brother?
Up?
How you doing, Daniel? Good to see you.
Raw man.
It's good to see you, buddy. Pretty sure I know who that is. Yeah, so thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, we're a little bit disorganized here to start, just because it's our first time, and we're trying to send the
make it soft and we're talking about this.
Send the video link out. But yeah, guys, check it out. Send it to your friends. Let's get a couple people in here, and hopefully you guys enjoy. We did. I'll let you share. I don't want to stand here looking at my phone, so you can send it out, and I'll talk for a little bit. So.
Yep, I just sent it out on my page. You can send it off on your page.
Sweet.
Yeah, guys, but we're kind of the first time in a long time we're in one location, which I know I'm pretty psyched about. Josh was pretty psyched to see me. He gave me a big bear hug.
I did. A big smooch right on the lips.
Yeah, just a little bit. My lips are still shining from it, if you can see it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But man, we're so excited to do this and kind of interact with you guys on a new level. We've been able to put out these little videos, which has been a ton of fun. Like this year, I've had so much fun reaching out with you guys, interacting with you guys, and really kind of getting deeper into these characters that we all know and we all love. And we thought that it would be a really great idea for us to come together as we're up here, because we're finally in one location for once in a while. We wanted to talk a little bit more about that, just kind of give you a little bit of an overview of the whole year. So as soon as Josh posts this link on his Facebook page, we're going to head on to it and start from January on, from 2021. By the way, Happy New Year. I didn't think we said that at first, but Happy New Year.
We did not.
2022.
Start Happy New Year.
Amateurs.
I know, seriously. Clearly we do this all the time, don't we? Yeah. Okay. I'm good. Posted it. I shared it to my personal Facebook. I sent it to my nerd friend chat. So we are good to go. We're ready. We're in this. Let's get cracking here. So first off, right off the bat, I just want to say I did finish our Spider-Man spoiler full review. Very excited about that. I spent a lot of time on that video, really trying to pull out all the stops and make things look good for you guys, and hopefully you like it. I am super excited for you guys to see that. It was supposed to be posted like a couple days ago, but we just couldn't quite get it done. I couldn't. I say we, but I couldn't quite get it done between family and holidays and all that. But it's up now. So after you guys are done checking out the stream, if you want to go check that out, that'd be awesome. Ori, how? It's good to see you. Thanks for hopping in for a minute and saying hi. We appreciate it. So EG, let's go ahead. Let's dive in. Let's talk about first of all. Let's talk about why don't we go out of order a little bit here. We got to talk about your sweatshirt.
We do. So
let's talk about your sweatshirt and let's talk about the Snyder Cut.
Well, I wanted to kind of go into that. So first of all, this is a sweatshirt I bought because even though it was a great movie and all that, at the heart of that movie was about a man who lost his daughter, unfortunately, to her taking her life. So I bought this hoodie on behalf of AFTP, I believe it's called, but it's a suicide prevention group. But basically, if you buy one of these hoodies, your money goes to support that group, which is something we very much so care about. But yeah, I mean, I think this year was a very interesting year overall for a lot of different things. And we had a ton of different content out. And, one of the things that we were really looking forward to taking care of in March was the fabled Snyder Cut, which, if you don't know what that is, in 2017 we had the Justice League version of the movie that came out. Unfortunately, Zack Snyder, the director, had to step away due to a tragedy, unfortunately, and another director came in and kind of did what he had to do to kind of finish up the movie. Hey, Bear the Nerdy is here.
Yes.
Let's go. What's going on,
Saying
Bear?
hi to all of our friends. So I appreciate you guys jumping in. I'll go ahead and give them a shout out now real quick. For anybody watching this stream live or anybody who watches it after, definitely go check out the Bear and the Beard podcast. They're a couple of great guys.
Very good guys.
They have connected me with a whole community of nerds, and everybody's been great. So thank you to everybody over at the Bear and the Beard, all the nerds over there, and for everybody at Geeky Vengeance as well. If you guys have some time, go ahead and check out Geeky Vengeance on Facebook. It's a great page, great community to be a part of. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we finally got, after tons of tweeting and fan support from the DC community, we were able to get the fabled Snyder Cut out this year. It was announced last year, and we were finally able to see that 4-hour marathon of a movie.
It is a marathon. yeah. If you guys,
that's half a work day,
right? Seriously, like make sure you like schedule in a lunch break for yourself if you're gonna watch that movie. It's a lot. I think we can agree though.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a great movie, right?
Yeah.
Because it takes the Justice League, it brings it to a much better place than where it was at before.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that, of course, Zack Snyder and the fans of it. But I think, honestly, I don't think it needs to be 4 hours long. I think there are a lot of scenes and parts that could be cut, could be changed. I don't think it needs to be a 4 hour movie.
We didn't have to have those ladies like singing randomly.
I think that's like the biggest example, right? Is when Aquaman is, I mean, who doesn't love seeing Aquaman shirtless? Of course, I've got a poster that I normally have up, but I take it down for streams and videos because, it'd be really embarrassing. But who doesn't love Jason Momoa shirtless, right? Am I right? But we really need to see it for 20 minutes while a whole chorus like sang behind and then goes the water. So I think there's definitely parts of that movie that could be trimmed up a little bit. But all in all,
we had a really good time.
Than the original.
Very much so. We had a very good time at least getting to see it, because for a while we just thought it was like a pipe dream or whatever. So the fact that Zach was able to come back and do that is pretty chill. Obviously, we don't know what the future of the DCEU holds. It's a lot of things moving back and forth. Next year, they're going to be bought out by Discovery. So
the DC waters are looking pretty muddy. We were talking in our chat earlier about how it's a little discouraging as a DC DC fan. I mean, obviously, out of me, you, and Brian, our buddy Brian, who's in the chat that we're talking about, Brian and I lean more towards Marvel, right? But we both really do like DC, especially the characters. And I'm someone who's actually familiar with like the old cartoons and the comics and everything. Brian a little bit, but definitely me more so. And I think when we look at the characters and the stories, everything we're like, it's like the meme of the little stick figure guy with the stick, and he's like poking the thing on there.
Come on, do something.
Come on, do something.
Give us something. Give us Wonder Woman. Give us Man of Steel 2. What's going on? Why are you scrapping it to go do this or go do that? So no, I think that's what's always been frustrating about DC in particular. And I think that what I will say is I feel like Zach finally did justify himself a little bit, because he got a lot of hate after BVS. So Snyder Cut is at least something we can hold on to. Regardless of where the DCU goes from here, it's at least one movie where you can say, all right, fine, we could justify what you were doing to a certain extent. So I really enjoyed the fact that he was able to bring that to completion, and we'll see what happens to the DCU going forward. But that for me was kind of my event of the year, because I'm a big Snyder fan from 300 to Watchmen, all that. So it was really good to kind of see that come full circle. And I I don't know where Josh is, but definitely restore the Snyderverse. Like,
I like the Snyderverse, but we'll table that conversation for now for another time. Right now, I just want to jump into the chat real quick.
Yeah.
And so we've got a little conversation going on between Bear and Ori and us. So Ori goes, that movie was longer than some of my relationships. Same. Same. And I'm always drooling, thirsty always. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he's a good-looking dude. Okay, he's a good-looking man. I mean, I'm a straight male. You're a straight male, right? We like what we like, but
on the line.
We can both agree that's a good-looking guy, right?
Very much
good-looking man.
Very much so.
So we're on the same page. And Bear says DC has great characters, and the animated universe.
Yes, the Bruce Timbers. That's what I'm talking about, son.
But the DCEU just lets me down too much, where the MCU doesn't. That's a very fair point, and that's really what we're talking about here. Is that the DC Live is just not at all comparing to.
Well, they don't have a Kevin Feige. That's the biggest thing. You know, they've gone through like 3 separate shuffles up. AT&T bought them out at one point.
Yeah, that's
so a lot of people got laid off. Yeah. Now they're about to get bought up by Discovery.
Yeah.
So they just haven't had a lot of really just kind of an order.
They don't have stability at the top.
No,
you know, exactly. And that matters, because if you've got the Kevin Feige, if you've got the leader that stays in place, and some of the trickle down pieces shift and change, it's not as big of a deal. It doesn't cause as much of a ripple effect, as long as your foundation, so to speak, or the top is set.
Yeah.
Everything else it's a little easier to keep things going smoothly. So
and I think that's one of the things that Marvel's done a really great job. Speaking of which, I think we can use this as a great segue, because I'm really excited to talk about the very first superhero outing we had this year, Wanda Vision.
Okay.
I'll tell you right offhand, Wanda Vision was something where when I saw it on my calendar, I wasn't super excited about it right offhand. Like, it wasn't something that pulled me in. Wanda was never my favorite Avenger, and Vision was like, kind of a cheap copy of Martian Manhunter.
Yep.
At my opinion at that time, But when that series came out, it was such a pleasant shock. I think it's my surprising, I guess, the one I was most pleasantly surprised at this whole year. It kind of had the sitcom setting for the first couple episodes that goes out into this broader story about how Wanda is dealing with her loss of vision and trying to make a fake reality around her, actually hurting the people that are in that town while she is trying to sustain this fake reality.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very beautiful story to see Wanda take that, because we really saw her as more of a side character for the most part. She gets somewhat of a redemption at Endgame, but we didn't get to really see her flesh out, see her deal with her issues like we saw in WandaVision, the way they did it with using a decade version of a sitcom, right? Whether it's the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And those
I think it was supposed to be, I was trying to figure it out because I watched it recently, and I was trying to figure, I think it is 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 2000s.
Yeah.
And then maybe 2010s. I don't remember exactly how many, but the one thing I did look and try and see is I'm pretty sure it's 50s is what they were trying to start with. But
they even consulted Dick Van Dyke, because I'm a big sitcom fan.
Yeah.
Dick Van Dyke, who is an old school sitcom star.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to. You can't do what you tried to do in WandaVision and not Dick Van Dyke. It was heavily influenced by that. And they have the scene in the episode where Agatha, right, is going back through Scarlet Witch's memories, basically. And that's the show that gets put on, right? The Dick Van Dyke Show in her home as a child. Yeah. So it sort of peels back the curtain a little bit, and it's showing us, like, this is why Wanda created this crazy world and made this hex, so to speak, and made life like a sitcom.
Yeah.
Right? So
just to kind of make it light, because that's what sitcoms are. Because sitcoms were really made for you to lose, not to be super heavy, but for you to have that made for life. That Leave It to Beaver, all in the family type of life, where everything was kind of chill and it's not super heavy. And that's what Wanda wanted for the first time in her life,
Yeah, so I think WandaVision was very good. And I mentioned this to you, and I've mentioned it to a couple of people since that. I really enjoyed it. I liked it the first time, but I enjoyed it even more on the second time watching through, because partially I think because I knew where it was going. So it was a little less confusing, a little less like me trying to figure out what's going on. And because I had all the context of having rewatched, it's been really nice because I sat down with my girlfriend and we've grinded out all of Marvel, over the past couple of months. So it's been like a really nice review for me and sort of rewind and analyze and see where everything's at.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really appreciated it on the second time through, and I think Wanda Vision was one of the better shows that they came up with.
See, I think our friend Bear the Nerdy, fun fact, Dick Van Dyke's brother was in a movie with John Wayne. Oh yeah, Dick Van Dyke, younger brother, that's what he meant to say. But yeah, no, Dick Van Dyke, I'm a big, like I said, sitcom fan, so his brother was in a movie with John Wayne. Also, Dick Van Dyke's brother also made a guest appearance on the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Okay.
Which was super interesting. So I big fan. And when I saw the set, right, I was like, oh my gosh, she's so Laura Petrie. She's so, and Vision acted so much like Robert Petrie. These are the characters back in the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was the exact same set. So for me, it was a great way to kind of go back and visit that TV line, because I spent so many summers at my grandmother's house watching TV land, all these old sitcoms. Right. So I could notice all these sets that were up. Yeah. So it was super interesting. And again, great story for Wanda, and really great to flesh that out. And if the MCU is going to continue to survive, and again, we always get these articles, whether it's from, Hollywood critics or like big time movie directors saying that movies made based on superheroes are overrated, or that they are going to be past their time. If we're going to continue to beat that lie, if we're going to continue to beat that kind of genre where we think we're just cowboys and Indians all over again, like back in the 60s or whatever, we have to continue to evolve it. And that's what the MCU has been able to do, especially WandaVision. Like, I felt like they did a really good job of pushing the genre forward. It was something that was pretty interesting. And yeah, there was a lot of Bewitched references, by the way, if you're a Bewitched fan. Yes. As my Bear the Nerdy said, a lot of Bewitched references. So yeah. We kind of start off with a bang, though.
Let me help you out, buddy. I feel bad for you. Let me give you a little place to put your drink here. We do a little housekeeping. There you go. Don't spill it on the new keyboard. That would break my heart.
I will. I've already broken your heart multiple times.
You have, but it would just break it in a different way. It would financially break my heart. So
yeah,
it's deeper.
I mean, our hearts are pretty brittle at this point financially.
Right.
So after
these past couple of years with COVID and everything.
Oh my God, and Christmas too.
Yeah.
I saw this meme. I thought it was hilarious. It said, whose idea was it to put Christmas, New Year's, and rent all in the same week? Come on, good looking man. I agree.
Thank you, Ron, man.
Good.
Appreciate you.
And so the next one I wanted to get into, and this is in chronological order, we had a really good series on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Called Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
I had to think about it. I was going to say Captain America.
Yes.
And like some little mix up of it. Yes. But it was like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that came out in March, kind of on the heels of WandaVision, right after the Snyder Cut. So it's kind of like a little bit of a very different from those two different iterations of superheroes. Yeah. And that was very interesting for me, because I felt like it was very much on the vibe of Winter Soldier. What were your thoughts on that? Being a big Captain America and big, Winter Soldier fan.
Yeah. So real quick, I'll give a little Body Ink story. So I've got obviously I got some tattoos. Yeah. This one here. Show it to you however I can, right? There. It's a star. There y'all go. That is actually Bucky's star. So nice. I'm a big Winter Soldier, Captain America fan. Our other buddy Brian, we mentioned him quite a bit in our videos, honestly, because he's one of our best friends, and we talk all of this nerd stuff with him. He's just not a part of the channel, but kind of is, because we have all these conversations with him. And
by the way, shout out to Dieter, because I know we haven't been able to mention him. He's been busy moving as of late, so he's had a lot of stuff going on. But he's a very valued member of the Knights of the Nerds Table family.
Yes, we miss Dieter. Dieter is smarter than both of us put together and knows. He's like, cut that.
He's like that out.
He's just like, oh no, we're having a connection problem as he's calling the cord out.
Oh no, sorry guys, we'll get back on.
It's so weird, just something wonky with Josh's internet. So, anyways, let's circle back. Dieter, we miss you, we love you, can't wait to have you back. Tattoos. This one here. Our buddy Brian and I, he was getting deployed in the Army, and we decided that we wanted to get bro tattoos, and we talked about a lot of different things that we could get, and we're like, well, we really like nerd stuff, and the more we talked, the more it just made sense. Like, and he got Captain America's shield, and I got Bucky's star. So all that to be said, I love Captain America. I love the Winter Soldier. I love the White Wolf that we're starting to hopefully get developed into. That show was excellent.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorites. It might end up being my favorite out of all of them. I am going to rewatch them again. The only one I've rewatched so far is Wanda Vision, but I am going to work my way through them, and that one might end up on top.
Yeah.
Especially because there are a lot of like sort of weird plot issues or just oddness with the show at times. And I remember I mentioned it to you guys after your review, because you didn't know this when we put out our review on our channel of the Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
They had this big sort of pandemic storyline, right? Where there was going to be this big virus and all this stuff was going to be happening. And they axed it because of coronavirus. And they're like, well, people are watching these shows to kind of get away from what's happening in the world. We don't want to have this glaring, oh, everybody needs the vaccine for this crazy pandemic that's going on. They're like, ooh, we kind of hit that one on the hit that right on the head a little bit, So they wanted to kind of move away from that, which I think is respectable. But because of that, there was a lot of things that kind of had to be cut and reworked from the storyline. But knowing that, I still think it is a very, very good show. It's got everything. It's got the humor. It's got the action. It's got a great dogfight scene in the first episode where you see Sam flying around and fighting with the jets. I mean, I really can't complain about that show. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, and I like the kind of subversive way they kind of were breaking into the genre again, where they were trying to replace Captain America in that world. They chose a fake Captain America to basically represent America and kind of replace him in at least our hearts. And it had just as bad of a reaction with fans as it did in the real world, And you just can't replace Captain America. Chris Evans, you just can't go ahead and get a carbon copy of him, just throw on a shield and hope he works out, because this guy ended up being pretty fascist. He ended up not being able to handle the loss of people around him and ended up losing himself in the process, even though he was a good soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with that, and I think they did a good job of exploring where you've got this sort of struggle between the three characters of who deserves the mantle, right?
Yeah.
Who deserves it, who wants it, who should get it. It's just all these things coming into play in the show, and I think everybody knew, right? We all went into it knowing like Sam's going to get it, because at the end of the day, Steve Rogers,
kind of the same person. Almost,
they really are. Steve gave it to Sam. Right? The shield was given to Sam. Could have been given to Bucky. Could have been given to Thor. Could have been given to whoever, Could have been given to Nick Fury. Who knows? Could have been given to whoever he wanted to. But he specifically gave it to Sam. And there's a point for that. But I love that the show explored all of that. And
they dug into Falcon a lot, where he had to go through this journey, because we didn't really, necessarily. By the way, got to say hi to my friend Armed Atlas. He just jumped on, so really nice. We got 7 people in the chat there. Look,
it's good to see you, Armed Atlas. Thank you so much for your support. I've chatted with you about EJ. I really, really appreciate you, man. Just having somebody that is a completely different genre and a completely different, audience than we are, support us and, like our videos, watch them, comment on them. You're a hero, man.
Yeah.
You're the best. And guys, if you're into guns, and shooting and all that, rootin', tootin', and shooting, go check out Armed Atlas on YouTube.
Yeah.
Awesome guy. Great videos. I've watched some of his videos. Really, really neat guy. Great videos. So back to our live stream here. I just wanted to give our friends
give him a shout out. He just joined the chat. Yeah, he's a very strong advocate for Black 2A, Second Amendment stuff. So very cool stuff. So if you guys are into that, definitely give his channel a shout. He's a very cool guy. Love the dude. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that before we had basically talked about Falcon as just kind of a sidekick character, right? We had a lot of black sidekicks in the MCU, right? We had Don Cheadle to Iron Man, right? So we had Falcon to Captain America, but we didn't really get to dig into his psyche a little bit.
Probably the first non-sidekick would probably be Black Panther.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously there's Nick Fury right off the top, but for me that's a little different, because Nick Fury is the captain of the whole thing, so to speak, but he's also not a hero per se. He runs the ship sort of, but how often do you see where's Nick Fury during the Battle of New York?
Who knows?
Right? And where is he during Age of Ultron? and
doing something.
Where is he during Infinity War, right? So he's not the main hero, right?
Yeah.
But he's certainly a prominent character. But I think, unless I'm wrong, I don't know if I'm misremembering, but I feel like Black Panther is kind of our first African American. Exactly. This is a hero. This isn't a sidekick. This isn't a side
even that
character,
was different though, because Black Panther was approaching it from a African perspective. Definitely a Black perspective. It was more of a
specifically African.
Exactly, perspective. Which, if people don't know my background, I'm half Ghanaian, I'm half African American. So my dad is
and 100% nerd.
100%, exactly. If you took my DNA test, I'm 100% that bitch. Right. So like, it was very interesting to kind of explore Falcon in that way, see how he felt about America. Even though he was a soldier, he even had doubts about how he fit into this American dream. Now, it was something that he realized from older generations. Maybe there wasn't as fond of a feeling of America. They went through some different times, but he kind of realized that it wasn't necessarily. He wasn't taking up the shield of Captain America because America was a just place, but he believed in the promise of America, which I think is a really interesting message. And we could literally have books and whole movies just about that message in of itself. But it was very interesting to see the MCU go deeper than just kind of the regular just, I'm going to crack jokes and be a Will Smith knockoff type of thing.
Yep. No, I totally agree, and that was good to see. We can go ahead and jump into the next show, unless there's anything more that you wanted to add about that one.
No, I just want to say hi to our guys, Raw Mensa, coming up, professional level thumbnails on the show. That guy does them as cutest. I love everything he said. Everything he's saying.
Hey, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. He's in the room over there.
Yeah.
We love you, Zach. Thank you for all your help with Photoshop and thumbnails. You and I make a great team, even though you usually do most of the work on the thumbnails. Yeah,
so Zach's does the behind the scenes stuff. He's Josh's roommate. He kind of helps him out to put some of the more artistic stuff up. I'm not much of a designer. I know Josh does some designing, I think, but not necessarily, at least coming up with the designs.
He just knows how to use Photoshop way better than I do.
Yeah, he's just, again, much.
And he's got an artistic mind.
Every great two men is even greater men behind them. Just remember that.
Yeah, I thought the phrase was something about behind every great man there's a woman, but I think in this case it's behind these two great men there's another man. Another couple men.
Another couple men just being supported like a pyramid scheme, really.
So actually that's a perfect segue. Speaking of pyramid schemes, no.
I know, right?
If you guys
want to invest,
this number right now in the chat.
We got some sponsors. They're kind of shady, but
Yeah, so basically the way it works, it's not a pyramid scheme, but EJ and I are up here, then everybody else below us gives us money, but then you sell stuff, so you also make money, but you just give us.
You'll be rich in like 10 years.
Not a pyramid scheme though.
Yeah, not a pyramid scheme.
So speaking of roommates, I wanted to show you guys my Christmas present from Zach's girlfriend, who's also my roommate. Boom. Pretty sweet. So we've got a hand-painted logo canvas. So that'll be going up on my wall back there somewhere. You can kind of picture it. But yes, thank you very much, Rumi, for my awesome Christmas present. And happy belated Christmas / holidays to all of you at home.
Yeah.
Because we wish you a happy new year, but we didn't talk about Christmas, and I love Christmas, so I just wanted to throw that out there. Make sure we gave a shout out to Christmas a little bit.
Shout out to Christmas.
So
it doesn't get nearly as much attention. The next thing I wanted to talk about, and it's kind of in the chronological order, is a show that's not Marvel or DC, but Amazon's Invincible.
Okay, yes.
That was a whole pack of memes, bro.
So we're gonna talk about our content, I guess, specifically what we've covered in the year, because obviously there's some other stuff outside of Marvel and DC and whatnot, and this is, I guess, the one thing that we're going to touch on. When we started this channel, EJ and I were talking a lot about what we really want to cover, and I said that it's very important for us to try.
The TVA is basically a pyramid scheme.
Bear says the TVA is technically a pyramid scheme. Yep, I like it. It's a timeline scheme. So where was I? I lost my train of thought there.
I know. It is terrible. I'm sorry.
But no, it's okay. So, so when we were talking about making this channel, I said it was good for us to sort of niche down and focus on some stuff. So we decided we're going to focus on Marvel and DC. We're not going to talk about Star Wars. We're not going to talk about Pokemon or anime or anything else that you see in my background there that
you might not be branch out later. But
we will branch out later. But for now, we were trying to niche it down. But the one exception we made was Invincible, and because it's really good. That's why. Yeah, because really it is so good. I remember that I had a list of people telling me you got to watch this, and in today's day and age, I feel like people are constantly like, "Hey man, you got to watch this. Hey man, you got to watch that. Check this out on Netflix. Check this out on Hulu. Check this out on HBO Max. Whatever." Not sponsored by any of those, by the way. Just check it out. Check it out. And how often do you always look at everything someone tells you to, right?
Yeah.
You have a million show suggestions. You got to whittle it down. So eventually, I watch it. Right. I loved it, and then I'm begging you guys to watch it. Like, you got to watch it. You got to watch it.
Yeah.
You guys come around and watch it, and then we all come back and we're like, "Wow. That was awesome."
Yeah.
And then we did a review. We loved it. What a show, honestly. And I feel like it's so awesome that it's animated. We talked about this in a review, basically how we didn't really understand how you could make that show live action. Like the scene in particular that I brought up during the episode was like, how do you live action film a man holding another man and using him to destroy a subway train full of people?
Yeah.
Just blood and guts and bones and crap everywhere, right? How do you do that live, right? But the fact that they did it animated made it, I guess, more watchable.
Yeah.
It was very psychological. It was very deep, very well done. The voice acting, we talked about that.
Oh yeah, Mark Hamill came in to voice the character. They got a lot of actually I guess Bruce Timm.
And of course we got our J. Jonah Jameson.
Yep. I just wanted him to burst out and be like, "I want to see pictures of Spider-Man."
Yeah. You wanted Omni-Man to burst in the house and
I know, right?
Spider-Man.
Where is he?
Wanted him to put a big cigar in.
Yeah.
You wanted him to have a stack of photos. Crap, super crap.
I think J. Jonah Jameson is the ultimate alpha male.
I really do.
He's the original Chad.
Yeah. No, he's the peak of what it is to be a man. Is J. Jonah Jameson.
See, look. So Bear the Nerd, he's pointing out something. I've actually watched The Boys, which I love. I love The Boys. I think they're coming out with season 3 next year.
Yeah, The Boys is something that we haven't talked about at all, but we should because I've seen it. You've seen it. Dieter's probably seen it.
Dieter's seen some of it. He's not as big of a fan of it, but
we can talk about The Boys.
Yeah, no, but I loved it. The Boys is very subversive as well, and it kind of gets in there as kind of the deconstructionist as well, as kind of Invincible was, where Invincible kind of asks us, it says, okay, so what if the superheroes we actually like are actually faking it and they're kind of bad, And if you buy into the lie that they're actually good, and then you find out they're bad, it's kind of a betrayal inside. Right. That's what his Omni-Man son felt. And that's why he had to fight back. It's a whole heartbreaking story. It's a great series. And Amazon's done a really good job of taking these superheroes are not necessarily your marquee Batman, Superman, or anything that Marvel has going on, and really kind of putting them out there as different content and still keeping it fresh. So gotta give them on that. Invincible was a great series. The memes from there alone were worth it.
Yeah, I think everybody's favorite meme, or at least mine one, is the think. It's what a great meme that was, and what great memes we've gotten in general. I speaking of memes, I'll have to go back to Wanda Vision for a second. Right? We could do a whole segment on just the fire memes that have come out of these shows. So my favorite Wanda Vision one, I said in the chat the other day, is the one where you've got Vision and he's in the black turtleneck. Right? He's got the chain. He's got his hand right here. He's like, "Nah, me and Wanda don't talk no more." I love that meme so much. What a great meme.
Yeah.
We'll have to do an episode just on memes. Sometimes.
Just on memes in general.
Just on memes, nerdy memes. That'd be so fun. We could just bring our top 5 or something. That would be so fun. Oh man, I love that meme. But anyways.
Yeah, we definitely got to talk about The Boys at some point. I would definitely love to do a review of that.
Yeah.
That's why I love those, because my favorite type of superhero genre, or I guess you say type of superhero movie, or whatever content you might want to call it. I like the deconstruction superhero movies, like Watchmen. Love that. I need to get into the television series they put on HBO Max recently. Love Watchmen the comic, Watchmen the movie. Invincible, The Boys. Those are all things that kind of go deeper into kind of your cookie cutter stuff that you might get out there. I love those types of things. So we'd love to get into The Boys at some point, just kind of get deeper into that.
Yeah,
now
I totally agree.
Now the next thing we can talk about here, and we almost forgot about this a little bit, but there was a Loki TV show.
Yes, well, see, the TVA got mentioned in the chat. Earlier, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's a good segue. We could jump in. We can talk about the Loki series a little bit. Bear, by the way, if you do need some help with thumbnails, I can definitely help you. And my roommate Zach, I'm sure, would be willing to help out as well.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm looking to making them more and more as we go. Because I feel bad having to always rely on him. So some of them I've made and some of them he's made. But yes, we would love to help you out with thumbnails. So chat with me after the live chat, and we'll figure something out, buddy. But yes, Loki. Let's dive into Loki. Loki, for me, earlier I had mentioned that I think the Falcon and Winter Soldier might be my favorite one out of all these.
Yeah.
And seeing Loki for the first time, we'll see what happens on second watch through. But Loki was the first one that I was like, ooh, I don't know. That one's pretty good, you know? And I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of really what there is to not enjoy about it, the negative sides of it. I think having the different Lokis was so cool, right? Having the different variants, some of them that looked like him, some that didn't. We had the alligator, we had the kid, we had the Viking dude with the hammer. Like, I mean, we had everything. You know, we had the old guy with the really old style.
Yeah, basically when Loki first came out, that was his first outfit. First costume.
Yeah, and I really liked that. I mean, what did you think of Loki? What did you take away from a good, bad, or in between?
I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it as much as Wanda Vision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'll be honest with you on that. Now, it felt very Doctor Who-ish, and if you guys are in the nerd sphere, like Doctor Who is this British sci-fi show and about time travel and crazy timey-wimey stuff. It felt very Doctor Who-ish, honestly. All the devices they use, story devices and stuff, were very similar to Doctor Who.
Yep.
You know, Tom Hiddleston always brings out a good performance. Like, I don't think you can criticize him too much, but one thing that I felt difficult about this story in particular is that it didn't feel very Loki-ish. And what I mean by that is that I wasn't dealing with Loki the god. I was dealing with Loki like the Office character or something like that. You know, it was like,
I saw that a lot of places where it felt like Loki got power crept. You know, like it was like, well, we can't really have Loki be as strong as he should be for the sake of the show. And I get that to a certain extent, but I think there's also a lot of things that he was dealing with because it's the TVA, which is sort of like a mystery to us still. Exactly how powerful are they, and really what's their story and what's going on. But also, he gets beat, but he gets beat by himself, right? He gets beat by the Loki variant, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to really see. And plus, I mean, Owen Wilson, right? So Barry said in the chat, Owen Wilson for the win, you know? I can't. Every time I see Owen Wilson, I think of Cars. Ka-chow. Lightning McQueen. Have you seen Cars?
Of course I've seen Cars. I've seen every Pixar thing ever.
Ka-chow.
I always think of his character either in Wedding Crashers or the cowboy he was in Night of the Museum.
Yes, or the YouTube, the like plethora of YouTube videos you can find where people like put him saying wow over different things. I saw one the other day. It was John Wick, like a scene in John Wick when he's like just kicking ass and shooting people, and every time he pulls the trigger, it's like Owen Wilson saying wow. So he's like wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Over and over again.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, I think his addition was cool. And again, it's not that I'm not saying that Loki was bad. I just, as from all the other TV shows that came before it, I'm probably saying this is probably my least favorite.
Yeah, Armed Atlas brings up a good point in the chat here. He says he liked it, but he was a little disappointed to see that it doesn't really impact the other shows.
Yeah, we haven't seen the actions of the finale of Loki really kind of ripple out through the MCU quite
because there were so many people that I don't want to talk about No Way Home, but I do want to talk about No Way Home.
Of course.
There were so many people that were, I mean, we've made it. We're at 39 minutes right now, and I haven't talked about Spider-Man or No Way Home. So,
I'm proud of you.
Like, I feel like
that's okay.
That's a gold sticker, right?
Yeah.
Like, give me a treat. Jeez.
Absolutely.
So, No Way Home. A lot of people were speculating because you saw the scene where the multiverse was splitting apart at the end, right? We all saw
spoilers, of course, if you haven't seen it.
That was in the trailer.
Yeah.
That was in the trailer
okay.
where it was cracking, the universe was cracking. And that's where everybody started theorizing. And they're like, Kang's coming through. And I'm like, no, Kang's not going to be in this movie. There's no way they throw Kang at the end of No Way Home. That just doesn't make any sense. Obviously, Kang is coming, and we're going to see Kang the Conqueror. And obviously, the whole splitting of the timelines. They've got some stuff to figure out between the timeline splits and the multiverse nonsense that went on.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get to see it all unfold. And so far, Marvel they've answered the call, right? You know, every time we've been like, where are they going? I'm confused. What's happening? They start in one place and they take us on a journey. By the time they get to the end, more often than not, we're like, oh, okay, that's actually really cool. That's a really good story. Like Thanos is probably our best example of everything that led up to Infinity War.
Delayed reaction. That was delayed.
But you had everything that led to those movies, and then finally, what happens in those two movies? You know, to resolve the issue of Thanos.
Yeah, I think that what they've done with Disney Plus and kind of putting out these little shows like this, I think for the most part it has been useful because it's easier. You don't have to go to the theater for it. You can just kind of sit and pop it in and kind of binge watch it through. It's good extended Marvel content where it can kind of have more room to breathe because it leads us to the next movie we're going to talk about here. But Black Widow, I feel like probably needed more room to breathe.
Yeah, we've talked about Black Widow so much in our chat and with our friends, and I think we probably don't need to spend too much time on Black Widow. I do want to make sure we get to everything and that we wanted to cover. But honestly, Black Widow it kind of fell short. You know, there's a lot of things that were just not super exciting about it. And I hate to say it because I love the character. I love ScarJo as it. I mean, she's been a part of the universe since the beginning of it, pretty much, right? For so long. And, you know, all of us were sad when she died. Spoiler alert. But if you haven't seen that movie, come on, what are you doing?
It's your fault.
How long is that movie? It's been out for like 3 years now.
Years?
Yeah, come on, go watch the movie. But anyways, Black Widow dies. Gotcha.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And we were all upset about that. And she has her own movie finally, right? She was always just a character in all these other movies. And it kind of falls short. And I don't think it's on her. I think her and Yelena, the sister, I think they're great characters. Yeah. But I think it's a lot of the supporting cast that really kind of falls short. It's really not exciting. Taskmaster is just...
It's nothing like the comics. That's the problem.
It just kind of sucks. Like, it's not a fun reveal, you know? And it has nothing to do with, like, the gender or the race or anything or the burnt face or whatever. It's just a...
Bear Than Nerdy just said something. Black Widow would have been better if it came out before Infinity War. I agree with you. I also think that, you know, because we have to talk about that.
What did he say? You said it very quietly.
Yeah,
very
sorry.
Go ahead and read it clearly for everybody.
Would have been better if it came out before Infinity War.
Yes. Which
I agree with that. And the only reason they kind of held back on that was because a lot of studio executives didn't believe at the time that a woman-led superhero movie would make money.
Yeah.
Now they saw the receipts from Wonder Woman and were just like, oh, maybe we need one of those. And so if they kind of had faith in the character and kind of just put it out before, you know, this would have made sense. It would have been so much better.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it is something that we brought up in the channel too. It definitely suffered from the timing. Yeah. And this wasn't when it was supposed to come out.
No.
Right? The COVID caused a lot of issues as far as release times and dates and everything. Things did not happen quite as they should, right? And I think had they happened the way they should have, it probably would have looked better. I don't know who that is. But thanks for tuning in, whoever you are. I don't even know what that says.
Bold. I don't know. Well, thanks for joining, though.
Right? Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we supposed to click on that link? Let's see what happens. Is that a link? Is that a website?
Don't think so at all. Just could have put so many spyware on your computer. But yeah, no, I mean, that's the one thing I would say, because Black Widow, I love the character, and I wish they'd done more with that. And she should have had her own trilogy, to be honest. I think that's really what she deserves. But Marvel kind of was slow to the ball on that. They thought we were just going to love it because it was a Marvel film, where, you know, if they kind of put some more love and care into that, I think that movie would have done much better.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, well, it's a Marvel film. You guys are going to see it anyway. Yeah, we did. But then after a while, we're like, no.
Yeah, I don't put it. I mean, again, it's another one that I've only seen the one time, so I do have to watch it again. I don't put it down with like Thor: Dark Worlds or my newfound dislike for Ant-Man 2.
You don't like Ant-Man 2 now?
No, we've had the conversation. I do not like Ant-Man 2. I don't. And it's
I thought you were fighting for it at first.
No. I mean, this is a whole other side piece. But no, we talked about this. I brought it up. I really, like, I went to the chat and I was like, guys, like, I don't like this movie. Like I thought I did all this time. I'm like, yeah, Ant-Man 1 and 2, they're great.
Yeah.
And I watched it again. I'm
I was
like,
like, bro,
I don't actually like this movie. Like the first one's good, but like I don't really like this movie.
you know, I have a friend that literally thinks that that's one of the better Marvel movies out there. Remember I showed you?
Ant-Man 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's awful, honestly.
I've been saying
I
that
really
for a while.
don't like it. Like it's
not good.
funny. I think it's funny,
Yeah.
but given everything else around it, that's all it has.
Yeah.
I'm like, the jokes are funny. Paul Rudd's hilarious. I love
Yeah.
his crew and everything. The comedy is good. The story I don't like. The villain I don't like. I mean, there's just nothing I like.
There's nothing
about it.
in there for you.
And I don't like. I talked about this with both of you and Brian, but maybe you're just not remembering. But I think I remember
now.
The tension in the beginning of the movie is manufactured. They manufacture tension between Hope and Hank and Scott.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel.
They
real.
just manufacture it. Everybody was the last time we saw them. He opened the door and Hope and Scott were making out, and he was like, "What are you doing to my daughter?" Basically,
You're a piece of shit.
right? Like it was the old funny, like, you know, cranky dad like catching you making out with his daughter or whatever. But it was like a funny moment, right? And then they just jump right into that next movie, and it's like, "Oh, we hate you again. We're mad, and we think that you're a bum and don't know how to take care of yourself, and you're irresponsible." So like all the character development that they did with Scott Lang and Ant-Man 1, they just like shut it off at the beginning of Ant-Man 2, and we're like, yeah, he did all that stuff and like had all that personal growth and like repaired all that stuff in his personal life, but we're just gonna break it again just for the sake of some story, I guess. That's what it felt like to me. And that didn't really click for me the first time. And maybe it was because there was so much time in between seeing Ant-Man 1 and 2. But seeing it this second time through, I was like, I don't like this movie.
I want to point out here, our friend, was it Ori Kimbler? She also mentioned that Black Widow spoke more to women than it would to men. That could be true. It could be the target audience was definitely, I think, more women focused. Now, anytime you're in the action genre, I think a lot of it's kind of pointed to men between 20 and 40, but that could be true. Like I knew there was a lot of points in that movie where they were definitely trying to appeal to more than women audience of Black Widow. So,
I mean, we've had movies that have done that. Obviously, Captain Marvel. That was
Wonder Woman.
a big part of Captain. I mean, in Marvel specifically, just talking about Marvel, right? So we had Captain Marvel. That was female lead, and it was very much there was a lot of female leads in the movie, right? And it was a very it was definitely trying to show that, showcase that. And I didn't dislike it because of that personally, for sure. I just didn't like it's the other characters I don't like. I don't like Taskmaster, and I don't like what's his name? I forget his name now. The father, and I don't like the mother.
Yeah, the guy from
whatever he is.
The guy from Stranger Things.
Yes. I didn't really like those characters, honestly. The only characters I really like in the movie are Elena and Black Widow, of course. And go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, I think that they suffer because every now and then, because the MCU generally speaking has a lighter tone, and what they tried to do with these characters that are more serious in the comics, they tried to give them a huge comedic feel to them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, I think they got a little bit too much of the MCU filter on that, where they're just so, just laughing up and joking around and stuff. Well, these are supposed to be spies that have literally had their own, like, they were literally put in Ohio as a plant family. These guys are supposed to be more born serious. I don't imagine them quipping all the time and like kind of joking around, These guys are probably hardened killer. You know what I mean? So I felt like the tone was a little off because I definitely felt like it was going for early like Jason Bourne feel to that film. Definitely some of the camera work, if you look at it, is very similar to the early Bourne movies with Matt Damon, honestly. And you get a lot of shaky cam in there as well, if you notice the shaky cam in some of those scenes where. So I think that's what it was going for. They should have just committed to that and made it more of a spy thriller. And I think they tried, but they just made it way too. It just the stakes just didn't feel real.
Yeah, I guess maybe. Yeah. The more I think about the movie, the more I think it really does suffer from the schedule changing, because I think had it come out in time, in the timeline, it would have been before we knew she was dead. Yeah. Which would have changed the end scene, the end credit scene, obviously. But they still could have set that up somehow or some way. It just felt off.
Yeah.
You know, it felt weird timing wise, and I think that's what the movie suffers from more than anything else. And again, I have only seen it once, and I want to watch it again, and I'm going to.
Yeah.
As we're working through the whole series again, and it'll be interesting to see what I think and how I feel on a second visit.
Yeah. And
so,
you know, the funny thing is we're almost halfway through the year now, and the next one we kind of wanted to hit off is something that came out in August, and we're finally going to visit the DC universe one more time with the Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad.
So EJ, I need to call you out here in front of everybody live.
Sure.
You are the DC lover, right?
Sure.
Out of our crew, I think it's fair to say I lean Marvel. Dieter probably leans Marvel, but he's pretty close to the middle.
So he likes MCU as far as cinematic stuff. He likes the DC comics better.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So I think that's why he kind of falls neutral, right? Yeah. But you're definitely on the DC side of things.
Very trying.
So for now.
Trying.
You're considering.
Let's see how the Batman is. Let's see how the Flash is. Those movies suck. That
maybe you'll change your ways. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
anyways, comics from that point on.
What happened when you saw this movie? Because you didn't like the movie, and then you did like the movie. So
I'm actually back to not liking it.
What? Oh my goodness!
I'm back to not liking it. I've talked to other people about it, other DC fans, and I began to like it less and less. So I recently rewatched it, and all right. So I have mixed feelings about James Gunn. Right? Guardians of the Galaxy 1, good film. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, pretty good. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, have no love for. You know, I don't have any love for that
we've
movie.
Had that argument. Yeah.
The Suicide Squad, there were some good parts in it, but I wasn't enthralled with the whole experience of the Suicide Squad. And there are certain parts in particular that I just wasn't even into. So I think they could have made Amanda Waller more menacing. And again, I get it, right? Suicide Squad, David Ayer's version that came out in 2016 or whatever, not a good film. I'm not going to hear to defend that. I think that's even one of the films that people consider to be bad. I'm not even going to sit here and give a defense for it. So it's just bad movie. But what I will say, I think they got some of the characteristics of the characters better than this movie.
Yeah.
Specifically Amanda Waller. I didn't like the fact that she got tricked out by her employees or whatever that were, I get it. She's supposed to be a bloodthirsty, calculated killer, but I don't think they understood her character very well. Wasn't really keen with how they handled Flask, whatever his name is. I'm missing his name all of a sudden. Oh, Captain Flag. Captain Flag's what I meant. My bad. And I thought that the pacing of the movie was kind of off. I don't really like it that much. Like, I enjoy it for what it was. It was I guess a fun 2 hours or whatever. But as a movie, I don't see it standing out with the other movies that came out this year.
That's fair. I'm going to jump into the chat real quick and read some of these comments before I offer anything. So we'll go back here for a second. So we've got Arm Atlas, who's saying that he thought Ant-Man 2 was fun, but objectively good. And he also did say, I think the bad guys from Ant-Man 2 could have been much better. So he agrees with me on the bad guy point where they kind of lack in the villain department for that movie. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, again, I didn't like the movie. It was sort of like it confused me because I'm like in my head, I'm like, this is a good movie. Then as I'm watching it again, I'm like, I don't like this as much as I thought I did.
Yeah.
So, which I don't know, makes it more fun, I guess, to like talk about how I don't like it, just because it's like surprise myself. Surprise. Yes, Jimmy Woo, great point, Bear. I don't want to skip over that. Jimmy Woo, great character. Gave us Jimmy Woo and Ant-Man. That is very, very true, very fair.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We get the call back in Wanda Vision. He does the magic trick.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Good point.
Yes, thank you. So we do thank Ant-Man 2 for that, absolutely, because he is a treasure in the Marvel universe. So we love our Jimmy Woo. So we'll keep going here.
Yeah.
Bear makes a really good point here. He says it was a great spy movie that almost forgot it was a comic book movie, talking about Black Widow.
Yeah.
And then Ori says the tone was about a dysfunctional family, and no matter how badass you are, you're still a messed up family. Yeah, no, that's true. You know, and I think everybody can relate, no matter where your family comes from. I think we've all experienced family issues, you know, ups, downs, good, bad days, and whatever. So, and I think we've all experienced, like, maybe we've had a friend, right, who his family looks like it's perfect. You know, they've got the 2-car garage, the white picket fence, the Escalade, everything looks real good. And then you go over to his house for dinner, and like mom and dad are fighting, or they're not around, or, you know, so like things can look really good on the inside. And I think that really is what the movie was pointing at, is they were trying to peel back the layers a little bit and show us the family aspect of, like, you know, some of the things that could be going on with that. So.
It also shows how Black Widow would have been very, I guess you would say, reserved from being a part of the Avengers, because the Avengers does kind of put itself as somewhat of a family unit. And the fact that she was kind of reserved at first and kind of just gently brought into her own, it makes sense coming from where she came from. She came from a fake family that was literally set up by the government. Both of her family units were set up by outside forces, which was kind of funny.
Yep, I agree. And moving on in the chat here, Ore says Suicide Squad was the best movie to come out of DC in 3 years.
What happened in 3 years?
I think I agree with you.
I don't know. Shazam and Aquaman are better, in my opinion.
I do like Shazam better. I do have to give a nod to Shazam.
I think Aquaman is the best.
3 years. Does Shazam last 3 years?
I believe so. I believe so.
If Shazam is within the last 3 years, I think EJ and I do both agree that Shazam is better than the Suicide Squad.
2019, so technically the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And Aquaman is,
I don't know.
Objectively,
I don't know. I did really like the Suicide Squad. I'm not as down. I think it's the only thing they've done recently that's been good. Now, I did give some praise to the Snyder cut, but it's hard for me to count that because first of all, it's not a new movie.
It's a movie that came out now.
It's not an actual new movie.
Yeah.
Right?
It's something that's been in the.
It's a lot different, but like a lot of the scenes are the same. It's the same character, same actor. It's just they cut it differently. Even you said yourself that they didn't really reshoot a whole lot.
No, they only reshot the last 5 minutes.
Right.
Like most of the footage was brand new, but it was just kind of like
because it's hard to count that.
The original movie was like just 30% Zack Snyder stuff, so it's tough.
And then moving on in the chat here, Bear says, I wish the Suicide Squad could somehow make it so the first Suicide Squad movie never happened. That would be fun, yeah.
I mean,
I enjoyed that movie more than I probably should have, but also like
a good time.
I'm a sucker for Will Smith. I don't know.
Yeah, I think anytime you put Will Smith in a movie, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, like, it's going to at least be worth watching once, and then if you don't watch it ever again, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a good time to see him there. He had really good chemistry with Margaret Robbie, which I feel like probably carried off the screen. Anyway, I think that first movie, like I'm not going to defend it. I liked it at first when I saw it. It's literally like it's like the girl you see at the club, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. And then you brought her home, you're like, I guess not. You know, it's the beer goggles at the time, you know, and it's like, I don't know. The first Suicide Squad movie was just badly cut, just objectively not a well-made movie. This movie, The Suicide Squad, was a well-made movie. I just didn't like it. Very different things. So Suicide Squad is a bad movie.
That's fair. That's fair. So the Bear says, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I love it. Yep, because we had
from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
That's the only good thing out of that movie.
I have a sweatshirt, custom-made sweatshirt.
You left that in my house.
I did. I have it back now.
You have probably the clothes at my house.
I do leave a lot of clothes at your house, which is funny because you live so far away.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I guess I'll see you next year when
right.
I deliver it to you.
Jeez, but it's a maroon shirt and it's like got a cartoon drawing of Yondu on it, and he's holding his arrow and it's coming down. It says, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all," and I love it. So, what a great character. Bear says Snyder Cut was one of the first movies in memory to have its reboot come out before it did. Thanks, but no thanks, Joss.
Yes. I think we both have, because I think the funny thing is we've gone back and forth. I don't know if you've seen our Snyder Cut videos. Dieter has a certain opinion of Joss Whedon. I think Josh is more, regardless of how he is personally, but I think you like his writing style for the most part. In Avengers 1, at least you would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not speaking on Joss Whedon as a human being, but speaking on Joss Whedon as as the movies that he's directed and what they look like when I watch them.
And all that,
Yes, I think by and large, his contribution to the universe I like maybe even more than the average. I think Avengers 1 is really good. I just watched Age of Ultron recently, and I don't get all the hatred for that movie. I really do think it's a good movie. I think it's an excellent entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love James Spader. I love the lines. I love the psychology. I mean, just what's explored in that movie. Psychologically and just I guess
I thought it was a good time. Yeah.
I enjoyed that movie. It gave us Vision. It gave us Vision picking up the hammer and just being like, "Let's go!" And everybody. I mean, I don't know.
I would watch Age of Ultron first before I watch Avengers and before I watch the Suicide Squad. To be honest.
Okay. All right. So I guess you're not as down on it as some people are. I know that a lot of people do.
I would actually prefer it as the best Joss Whedon contribution to like comic book movies. I think that one better.
I think Avengers 1 is probably better than Ultron, but I don't view them as very different, honestly. I mean, I don't view them as scale wise, grading wise. Obviously, they're completely different movies. But
I felt like it went deeper into the characters. We got more into the more tortured side of these characters, especially with Hulk. I liked the torture side of Hulk. Didn't like the romance with him and Black Widow. Thought that was
I guess a lot of people had an issue with that because it does kind of seemingly come out of nowhere.
But if you cut that out, it's a decent movie. If you cut that romance out, Age of Ultron is actually a very decent movie. And I mean,
Bear says that Ultron is one of the best one-time MCU villains ever. In my
I agree with that.
I loved Ultron.
Yeah, James Spader is really fun.
Yeah, he really delivered on that for sure. So let's move on. Let's try and lightning round the last few of these because we've been on the stream for an hour at this point.
I know. So
we'll I do want to take some time to open it up to anybody in the chat for questions and whatnot.
We got only a few more left, so we're almost done. I don't really want to talk about What If that much. Do you care for What If?
No, I mean, I didn't watch What If I watched What If and it's decent. All I'll say about What If is it's something you should definitely watch to check off the list. It's not so bad that it's not worth watching, but it's not mind-blowing or anything. I will say by far my favorite episode is the zombie episode. The zombie episode is excellent. If you've seen What If, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen What If, go ahead and watch it, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Zombie episode, awesome.
Yeah, and obviously I always pronounce it wrong. Shang-Chi.
The
Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yes.
That was another surprise film for me. It was basically a karate movie that made itself into an MCU movie. Great choreography. I thought the cast did a fantastic job. One of my favorite Marvel entries for the year, to be honest.
It's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it doesn't know it. That's what it is. It's live action Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's amazing. The CGI, the dragon at the end is absolutely beautiful. The fight choreography is absolutely beautiful. I read an article about the bus fight scene, which is just probably one of the best, certainly one of the best fight scenes we've gotten. Just the choreography and timing and just everything. It's what an awesome scene. And then, of course, it's beautiful, the fight scenes that happen in the forest between the mother and the father. Yeah. Where you've got the flowers and just the movements and everything.
It's more like a dance than a fight.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's beautiful. So what a great movie Shang-Chi was. I've been telling everybody who will listen to me that I'm so happy about that, because if you take that movie and you take Captain Marvel and you put those two together, you have a live action Dragon Ball Z movie that is really, really good and looks awesome. Basically, what that movie showed me by itself was that you can make live action anime.
Of course.
You can do it. You just need that Marvel Disney money behind you. Yeah. You got that studio Marvel, Disney studio money behind you. You can make a good live action anime. I've yet to see a good live action anime. I haven't even watched the Cowboy Bebop on Netflix, but I think I canceled.
The Avatar movie, was that good?
Avatar was awful. Awful. Look, one of the worst movies ever.
I know. Was that good?
I didn't realize you were messing with me. I was like, do we need to stop the stream right now just so you can watch it? No. Remember when you made me watch The Room? Yeah. Right? And it's so bad that it's good? Yeah, this is just so bad. That's all it is.
Is it even entertaining?
No.
It's like
they pronounced the names wrong.
It was like Ang instead of Ang. Yeah.
Like that's the most frustrating part about that movie. It's like you have the source material. This was an English, like Nickelodeon made this anime. It was English people that made this. Their first language is English, and they created these characters.
Supposedly.
And then you try to live action adapt it, and you can't pronounce it right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going off.
How did you feel about the most controversial? He said,
we don't speak of that movie. Yes.
Sorry if I triggered anyone. I apologize. I'll pay for your
Aquafina,
therapy.
yes, we do.
Maybe.
Ori, you're right. We do need to mention Aquafina.
Yeah.
Yes, she did a great job.
What did you feel about the most controversial MCU movie of the year, though, The Eternals? Because there's a lot of split fandom on that. That was the first movie that kind of bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that.
Let's keep the chat on Eternals short because as Bear and Ori can attest, I have spent hours discussing this movie with my fellow nerds. So I will just button it up. Our best video so far is our video prepping for Eternals. So Eternals has a special place in my heart for that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Eternals. I loved Icarus. I really did. I liked the movie more than you or Brian did. Our buddy Brian, that we talk about all the time. I think it is a good entry. It's a different tone. It's darker. I think it's a good entry. I like it a lot more than the average Joe does. I think it's an above average movie. Brian and I made a tier list of every single Marvel movie, starting with S tier and then going down. I think we had F or D was our last tier. I forget. And I think we had it like just above average. And I think that's where it belongs.
Here's the deal. And I got excited for it because I like the grandiosity of how they were making this film. Like, you know me. I like big orchestras for scores. I love treating the characters like gods among humans, you know. I like that approach, but I will say when it came to like the middle of the film, it felt a little bit boring. And the last scene felt a little contrived. The last kind of scenes of that movie, I felt like they could have done more with it. And I was kind of disappointed because I thought The Eternals was going to be like my movie. I think a lot of people coming out saying that it was the Snyder cut of the MCU.
See, that was your problem.
You were like,
your problem is you're such a Snyder fanboy that as soon as anybody said the word Snyder, you were like, all right, this is going to be the best MCU film to date. It's going to be better than Endgame, Infinity War. It's going to be the #1 best movie they've ever made. Just because somebody said Snyder when talking about the movie, you're like, oh boy. You were
the director said that they even got inspiration from Man of Steel. So I was like, oh yeah, let's go.
No, I see where she got that. I mean, she even makes a Superman reference, right?
Yeah.
And I really do think that the movie is disliked more than it should be. But
I don't think it should be hated.
It does have some issues. And if you guys are looking for a very in-depth discussion on such subjects, definitely go check out The Bear and the Beard. They posted a 2-part episode where myself and many other nerds, including The Bear and the Beard, discuss the movie at length and go up and down all the characters and everything. So if you really like the movie or you really want to dive into it, definitely go check that out.
I want to wrap it up by talking about 2 entries into one of the most popular IPs of all time, Spider-Man. So before we get into No Way Home, which I know you're dying to know, you've gotten a little bit excited there, calm down, about this movie. But the one that came before it in the Sony universe of Spider-Man was Venom. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. We both went to watch the original Venom together, actually, if you remember, in 2018, 19, whenever that was. Feels like forever ago. And we both agreed that was a fun ride, although a lot of people hated on it, and there was kind of like this dichotomy, right, where critics said it was terrible, whereas fans were like, nah, this is freaking awesome, right? We got this again with Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Do you see why that is, or did you enjoy it this time around?
I liked Let There Be Carnage, and I liked the first one, but I do always tell people, I try and be honest and say I'm biased when it comes to these characters, right? Because the Spider-Verse is my favorite by far, and there's nothing nerd that I like more than the Spider-Verse, right? So these movies have to be real bad for me to be like, oh, no. Now, some people, they go the opposite way, right? And if they're a really big fan of something, they have like such high expectations, right? But for me, it's just getting content that's in my favorite universe makes me really happy. That aside, I do really think that Let There Be Carnage is a decent movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it an MCU movie? Technically, yes, kind of, sort of, because they do bring him in the cutscene, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like at the end of No Way Home, they send him back and they leave the symbiote piece there, seemingly setting it up for Eddie Brock to finish, for Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock to finish out his probably last movie as Venom in his own Sony universe. But then now we have a way that a symbiote that can become Venom or any of the symbiotes in the Marvel Tom Holland universe. I think it was
spoilers.
I think, I mean, spoilers. That's probably should have said it, but I mean, the movie's been out for 2 weeks. All right, it's been out for 2 weeks officially. It's okay to talk about it.
There was literally a Hollywood Reporter article about how Toby and Andrew got together, were recruited for the for No Way Home. So I think we're going to.
I mean, this movie got spoiled for me before I even watched it, and I watched it on Wednesday before it even officially was released. So
exactly. The only thing I'll say real quick about Venom: Let There Be Carnage before we get into the main event, No Way Home, is that I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. The dialogue was fun. They turned it basically to a rom-com of like the late 1990s. Yeah. Like I was surprised Vince Vaughn wasn't in the movie. And
Matthew McConaughey.
Some of
with
those
his shirt off.
Yeah, something like that. But I will say the storyline didn't make a ton of sense. Like they just really wanted Carnage and Venom to fight, and they just got there, and they didn't care how they got there.
The movie's an hour and a half long. And I made that point to a lot of people that criticize it and just say, like, maybe you don't like that. But for me, I'm like, it was kind of a nice change of pace, because normally we're like, okay, going to the theater, see you in 3 hours.
Hope you have a strong bladder.
Right? Because you're sitting there drinking your Coke and eating your giant tub of popcorn or whatever.
It gets salty.
Candy. And you just sit there like, what do you think No Way Home was like for me? I had to pee like 2 minutes after we were in there. Do you think I was going to leave to pee?
Yeah.
Heck no, I would have peed my pants before I went to the bathroom for that movie. Absolutely. But yeah, it was kind of nice having a change of pace. Watching a movie for an hour and a half. You're right. They did get right to the point. They're like, Venom, Carnage. They don't like each other. They're fighting. They had to be quick. They only had an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But
one thing Bear said there, Woody Harrelson's hair was my least favorite part of that movie. Yeah. That's doable. By the way, thank you, Bear, for loving my breakdown of Let There Be Carnage. I appreciate you, brother. We need to actually have interact with each other at some point. I know Josh got that awesome opportunity. I'd love to have that opportunity at some point.
Yes, no, we will definitely be having Bear and Beard probably on very soon. I did mention it to them that we're going to have something in the works for sure. And I also did mention, we'll table that for now, because we're gonna talk about that in a minute.
There's one more thing that Josh has really been excited to talk about this whole time.
He has been something. Go there. See that red thing right there?
What?
Go grab that.
Oh no! Right, are you gonna do this to yourself?
Just go grab that. I need you to go grab that real quick. What's that? Right there. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Hand that to me.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead and hand that to me.
So to top off the year.
So a little bit of context.
Go for it.
I live in an apartment complex on the 3rd floor, and everybody below us turns their heat on, and it gets so ungodly hot in my room. It's January, and I normally have to have my window wide open when I sleep at night because it gets so hot up here. Now, I have to shut my window in order to do this recording, obviously, because I don't want you guys to hear all the noise outside, right? I wanted to be wearing this sweater the whole time we were doing this video, but I also didn't want to sweat on camera for like an hour and a half.
I just love Snyder a lot more than you love Spider-Man.
You just don't sweat like I do. That's all it is. I mean, we just different bodies. That's all we get. Different genetics. What can I say? I really wanted to wear this for the whole stream. Yeah, right. We look exactly alike. I can't tell a difference. Do we have anything different?
I don't think so.
We're like basically the same height.
I think we both have the same like European blood that everyone has.
Anyways. Here it is. I wanted to share this with everybody.
Let's go.
This is my Spider-Man Christmas sweater. I love it so much. It is beautiful. It is magnificent.
Who got that for you?
I'm sad that I could not wear it this entire time, but it is way too hot in this room to do that. So I wanted to show you all that. And if you have seen my short, you know that I also do own a full Spider-Man costume. I need to get a new one, though. The material on that one is like, it's not great. I need a professional grade one. I'm in the market for like professional Spidey suit, so we'll have to look into that. Anyways, let's chat about No Way Home.
Yeah.
EJ, start us off. What did you think about No Way Home? I'll jump in with No Way Home. Then we'll wrap it up with some things to come and open it up to our audience if they want to give any shout outs or have any questions.
Thank you guys for being with us this long, honestly.
Yes, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
So No Way Home for me was a love letter to Spider-Man. And for those who don't know, Spider-Man is probably my favorite superhero besides Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just period. Mm-hmm. I would say it goes Batman, Spider-Man for me.
Well, no. You messed up the order a little bit. It goes Zack Snyder.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Tom Brady, then
Snyder.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I've already decided that's the holy trinity of good white men in the world: Snyder, Brady, and maybe Betty White. I don't know. Rest in peace. At any rate.
Spoiler alert.
No, right? At any rate, yeah. So I really loved it, and for me, the first thing that got me into superheroes, besides the Bruce Timm-verse back in the 90s, was Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and that really regenerated the genre to a certain extent, because we'd had bad movies in the 90s like Batman and Robin, and Blade was up and down at some times. So to have genre come in, Bear's like, so Spider-Man's your favorite superhero and Batman is your favorite hero. I didn't need to hear that from you, Bear. No, Batman's still a superhero. She says, you had to hurt us all. Listen, I was hurt too. I've gone through it. It makes sense. I mean, Betty White's a superhero. Sorry. She is. She should have been in the Avengers, in my opinion. Back to Spider-Man. Yeah, no.
Come to the portal.
It was funny. And I just, obviously there's some spoilers out about Tobey and Andrew, but Tobey's always been my favorite Spider-Man. To see him come back.
So really quick, because we didn't do this before. Spoiler alert, everybody.
Yeah, spoiler.
I'll put definitely stuff in the banner, but our official spoiler review has come out as well. That's on our channel. So it's been a couple weeks and a couple days. So everybody, if you don't know, everybody's in the movie, and I love it. So go ahead.
No. I mean, it was really great to see them all come together again. Andrew Garfield. I always liked his portrayal of Spider-Man. He didn't have great movies, but it is what it is. But to see them all come together and have payoffs from all those different trilogies in that one film was super fun for me, and I would say it's probably my second or third favorite movie of the year period.
Yeah. Well, it was my favorite movie of the year, and which I honestly, until I just Into the Spider-Verse was so good, and I it's hard for me to say that that's not the favorite, but this movie was so amazing what it did, and I don't want to we have a video coming out talking about it, so we don't need to talk about it forever. All right, but I'll wrap it up and put a bow on it and just say I love the movie. It hit me right in the childhood. It's like literally grew up watching these movies. My whole life. I started I was born in 1994, right? I'm 27 years old, okay? So 2002, I get to see Tobey Maguire, right? And from then on, that was what started my love for Spider-Man. I mean, I liked Spider-Man when I was a kid because I was exposed to him somewhat. My first big exposure, I just spat everywhere. There you go.
It's okay.
You're welcome,
it's
YouTube.
Okay. I love
spat everywhere live.
It's fine. It's completely okay.
It is. I'm just so
the
excited.
CDC approved
I'm
it.
sorry.
Okay, it's fine.
I'm so excited. So just growing up seeing these movies between Tobey, Andrew, and Tom, and being able to see everything come together, including the villains. Everything about that movie is amazing. I'll defend it till the end of time. I don't like when I hear people criticizing it because I don't think it deserves any criticisms. I think
I'll save my criticisms for next month. But no, I love it, and I do need you guys to settle. Obviously, it was one of the better movies of the year, but I do need you guys to settle one argument we've had about the Spider-Man. I still think Tobey's the GOAT because he's Tobey, and also we pointed out this one thing about Spider-Man where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is the only one that can shoot things from his wrist, and the other ones have the traditional web slingers or whatever. I think the wrist thing makes more sense, but Josh vehemently disagrees with me.
So we had an argument. I'll let you in. We had an argument between myself and EJ, and EJ was basically saying that Tom Holland and Andrew are lesser Spider-Man, and that
very much so.
Theoretically, if the three would fight, that Tobey would win because his webs are organic, and I was arguing that. So
he's more of a Spider-Man.
2 questions that I want to present to everybody watching this, and if you're watching it live, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. If you're watching this after the stream, go ahead and put it down below in the comments and let us know who's the best Spider-Man between those 3, just on screen, between Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland. And if the 3 Spider-Men were to fight each other for some reason, which one comes out on top and why?
I have a question for you, Josh.
Yes.
So, say if you got bit by a spider, you got superpowers, right? Mm-hmm. Say if you were able to crawl on walls, right? Mm-hmm. Say if I also got bit by a spider, right? Mm-hmm. Say if I was able to spit out web shooters. Which one of us is Spider-Man?
Yeah. No. I'm Spider-Man.
No.
Do you know the origin of Spider-Man?
I know. But this one makes
more sense. Stan Lee was literally sitting and he thought, like, what if a hero could crawl on the walls? That was the original power that made him think to create Spider-Man. Okay.
No, but answer the question then.
That's why he was going to name him Mosquito Man at one point.
No, answer the question. If I can shoot webs, you can climb on walls. Which one of us is Spider-Man?
Me.
How?
Me.
How? No.
You're gonna grow up some extra legs too?
Yeah.
You're gonna start biting people?
Why not?
Because if it was true to form, then doesn't he have to shoot the web out of his butt?
No, it transforms a little bit. It makes more sense to come out the wrist. I'm telling you, it makes more sense. And the reason why Tobey is the GOAT is because he has the best villains, the best overall world. And at the end of the day, Tom, is he good? Yeah, but he had to fight one of Tobey's villains to be important in this film.
No. See, now you're just saying stuff to upset me. Now, see, this is what you people miss out on, okay? You're going to get to see it now, but this is what happens at Nights of the Nerds table, okay? In between EJ, myself, and Dieter. EJ comes into the chat and saying some stupid crap, right? Some stupid dumb take about something. And I know he doesn't even believe it. He's just saying it to piss people off. He's just saying it because he wants to have an argument. He loves to argue. The man misses calling in his life. He should have been a lawyer. He just loves to argue.
He says, okay, number one, Tom Holland is the best representation of what Stan Lee envisioned. No hate on Tobey, he's a great actor, but was too old for high school Spidey. Yes. I agree. I mean, Tobey definitely looked way too old.
We did talk about this the other day. Yeah. Remember, I was showing Flash Thompson. I was like, this dude looks like he belongs in Bowling for Soup. Like, it's so funny. But
Andrew Garfield does get, I guess, he has the middle child syndrome of the 3.
Yeah.
Or he's almost no one's favorite.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I know there's rumors that he might have another chance of Spider-Man. I love to see more of him.
There's a pretty good crowd that loves that loves Andrew.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of memes, especially lately. There are a lot of people that have him as their favorite. But let's go ahead and jump in really quick to the chat. Armed Atlas said, so are we excited to see Into the Spider-Verse 2? I'm almost worried that capturing the magic twice might be too hard. Here's my thoughts on that. So Into the Spider-Verse 1 was the 2 guys. There's 2 guys basically that headed that project up, wrote it, and produced it and everything. Those 2 guys went to Sony and they basically said, hey, we want to do this movie, right? Mm-hmm. And we want to bring Spider-Ham into it, Spider-Gwen, aka Ghost Spider, and we want to have Tobey and Andrew in it as well. And Sony basically responded and said, no, it's too soon. We can't do that. Now, my theory, EJ and I talked about this, but my theory is that they said that because of thoughts of No Way Home were on the back burner. But maybe not. Maybe it was just no, we can't do it. And then they saw the success of Spider-Verse. And then that's what spurred No Way Home on even more.
Who knows what happened first?
So my point being is that this whole idea really came from those 2 guys, and those same 2 guys are involved with this movie.
Yeah.
And I do really believe in them to make a very good movie. I think it's going to be very hard to make a better or as good movie as the first one, because it's a damn near perfect movie, honestly. But I do think that they can do better than just capture lightning in a bottle once, if that makes sense.
It's going to be tough because we've had so much great Spider-Man content come out recently with No Way Home. Mm-hmm. And obviously the Spider-Verse, so it's going to be hard for them to top that, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But until they give us a reason not to trust them, let's go ahead and see that movie. I'm excited to see it when it comes out.
Yeah, I agree. So continuing on into the chat here, so we have Tom Holland, all in caps, is the best Peter Parker.
Oh, you're wrong. That's okay. I love you anyway.
Tobey is OG, Armed Atlas. Tobey is OG, but I think AG needs a 3rd movie. Gritty, dark, tormented.
I agree with you, Armed Atlas.
Tom Holland might win, but only because his suits are OP. Now, that's interesting, though, because, again, spoiler alerts, but he has a new suit now that he hand-sewed himself, and we don't know if he still has the nanotech or not, really. They basically just show him. It's hinted that he doesn't because he sews the suit from scratch and he just swings, right?
So maybe he just needs a new start. You never know. Well, maybe he might have it. Who knows?
And then continue on. We've got Bear who says, okay, Tom Holland is the best representation of what Stan Lee envisioned for the character. No hate on Toby. He's a great actor, but he was too old for a high school Spidey. We talked about that earlier. Another point of age. In the comics, Peter web shooting does go internal when he's
I didn't know that.
3, as for who would win in the fight as far as the 3 Spider-Men, we see in No Way Home, Toby, because he has the experience and the internal webbing. So Bear seems to agree with you mostly on the internal webbing.
Yeah.
And Toby being older and being more experienced. Or he says, Tom Holland is the best overall Spider-Man, Peter Parker, but I think AG, Andrew Garfield, is a great fighter. So I have my money on Andrew to win the fight. That's actually a really fair analysis.
You guys both have good points.
There's a lot to like about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man's fighting style. Maybe not so much saving the damsel in distress.
No, only Toby can do that, apparently. You guys really can't. Anytime there's someone in distress.
Listen, Andrew got his redemption in this movie.
Yeah,
okay.
He's had some practice.
Yep. So I did actually see, I'll throw this out here. I saw from a semi-reliable resource that Sony has a Spider-Gwen, aka Ghost Spider movie in production with Emma Stone.
That would be very interesting if they're able to pull
that. That would be very cool. Very cool.
I mean, technically she's supposed to be dead, but
that's very, very easy issue to solve because guess what?
We have the multiverse.
She's from a different universe because the Gwen Stacy that actually ends up with Spider-Man in Andrew Garfield's universe, that's not. Look at this Into the Spider-Verse, right? Yeah. That Gwen, who is Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider, comes from another universe, right?
True.
Very easy to just grab Emma Stone from another universe.
Basically what the Flash TV show's been doing for all these years.
Yes.
Every time a character dies, or they're like, oh, let's just grab someone from another universe.
Yeah, but it's not the same actor.
What's up?
It's not the same
in the Flash, it is.
Oh, it is? I'm so far behind on that show. Yeah. All those shows turned into soap operas and I stopped watching them.
Yeah, they got CW'd pretty quick.
That's what happened. They turned into teen dramas real quick.
Bro, it seemed like more One Tree Hill than actually actual superhero films. But they were what they were. There were some fun parts. But yeah, that's kind of our review of the year, which we were so excited that you guys are kind of going to join in on. And we kind of wanted to open up a little bit to the chat. Like, obviously, you guys know our favorites of the year. Josh, homeboy, he's more into Spider-Verse and Spider-Man. That's kind of his favorite film of the year. Mine, unapologetically, is the Snyder Cut. I don't care what happens. I don't care if the Snyderverse is not restored. That movie is the best movie of the year, in my opinion. I feel a little bit validated because Jeremy Johns, I don't know if you know him, he's a big-time YouTube movie reviewer. He put the Snyder Cut as his #1 movie of the year, and he has like 2 million subscribers, so I feel a little bit validated by that.
There you go. Yeah, somebody who agrees with you.
You would know him by face. If you saw his face, you would know him. But yeah, no, I love that movie, and I've probably watched it like 8 times already. I've seen No Way Home twice now, which is a little bit one more than Josh has, so who knows? Maybe I'm there.
Listen, I've got a brand new baby. All right, I got to edit these videos. I basically live in 2 houses right now. I got a lot going on. I was on call this weekend, which actually I'm on call right now. So it's pretty cool that this thing hasn't run.
We were kind of worried about that.
If it rang, I would have been like, "Bye, guys. You're with EJ now,"
which would have been no fun for anyone.
Right, right. But yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Before we leave you all, we just want to say thank you, of course, for watching, for commenting, chatting live with us. Do you guys have any questions for us before we sign off? Is there anything that you would like to see moving forward from Nights of the Nerds table? Do you guys have any suggestions of some cool topics to cover or some debates or discussions to have? Really let us know. And if you're watching this video after it went live, and comment below and just let us know what you're looking for, what some of your favorites are. Let's go ahead and dive back into the chat real quick before we sign off for the night. So Atlas says, so are you excited to see Into the Spider-Verse 2? Oh, whoops, sorry, I went back a little too far.
Yeah,
I went back too far with that one. Whoops. So we've got
Probably
Bear here.
Yeah.
Okay, no, we'll start with Ori. So
yeah.
Ori says Andrew saving MJ had me ugly crying in the theater. Now, both EJ and I have talked about our crying, and you guys over at Bear and the Beard and Ori, maybe you remember I talked about my problem with crying and how I just bottle it all up forever, and
we're very manly,
and then eventually just like
men.
cry randomly at something that I probably shouldn't, but I cry really
Yeah.
long and hard about it. But anyways, what therapy I may or may not need aside.
It's okay. Do you need a hug, John?
I didn't ugly cry, but it was such a great moment, beautiful moment. I even said that's the thing I'm most proud about. Two things that I said to both EJ and Brian before this movie happened was I said, spoiler alert, I said Aunt May is going to die. That was my guess of who dies. And I said Andrew is going to save MJ, because we had the scene of MJ falling and we knew someone was going to save her. A lot of people were like, oh, MJ might die. I'm like, nope, MJ doesn't die, but Andrew saves her and he gets to redeem himself.
Yeah.
So a little pat myself on the back. I was really proud. I was right on those 2 points. I was wrong about just about everything else, but those two things nailed it. So that was good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good ratio for the most part. And I do agree. That was a nice moment. And that's what I'm talking about with that movie. It had so much payoff from other trilogies or other, because Garfield didn't have a trilogy, but, other universes. So to finally get Garfield to do that was kind of cool. I'd love to see where Garfield goes from here. Like, I'd like to see him in this dark and gritty idea where he loses hope and kind of just goes out there and starts taking people out. That'd be super chill.
So Bear says in the storyline, One More Day, he talks about how his web shooting became organic and internal when he was going to see Tony to ask for his help to save Aunt May. I don't remember that. I don't remember that, but
I know that comic.
I'll have to look into that. Maybe it's just a line that I haven't read.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know if you know this, Bear. Is it in our universe? Is it in our Earth? It's not a multiverse thing, because I know MJ actually does die, but it's an alternate universe. It's not in like the main Earth comic line that is our Earth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if you know that or not, but let me know if you do, because I'm curious.
Yeah.
And then Armed Atlas. So Spider-Gwen, then Amazing Spider-Man 3, or Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Spider-Gwen team up. That would be really cool. The issue with that is that I think really what they want to do and what they were planning on doing with Spider-Man 3 originally, Amazing Spider-Man 3, was exploring the darker side of Andrew, right? So he just lost Gwen and he kind of goes down a dark road a little bit. And I think they want to explore, and I think that's a good thing, to explore. You could go before No Way Home, right? Timeline-wise, you could have it be that when Andrew gets portaled over, or not portaled, but when he gets pulled over in the multiverse split, it's at the end of the Amazing Spider-Man 3, right? But what happens in Amazing Spider-Man 3 is he kind of goes to a dark place, and through the movie, they take us through the journey of him sort of redeeming himself and becoming more whole, right? So coming out of the dark place, but he starts in the dark place and finds a way back to the light, so to speak. And then I think they could introduce Spider-Gwen as a solo movie, and then they could have them introduced into the future. I think if they were to try and immediately hammer the two of them back together, it creates awkwardness, because especially if they want to use Emma Stone. Right? Now, if they wanted to use an actor that looked like her and that was from a different universe, you know what I mean? But this is literally a Gwen that's going to look exactly like his Gwen now being in his universe.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing to explore. And I mean, I'm on board for any of it, honestly. Because, like I said, I love the Spider-Verse. So either way, I'll watch it. Bear says, I have a question for you two. What is your opinion on these two potential castings? 1, Norman Reedus as Ghost Rider, and 2, Jared Kesso as Wolverine. I am going to speak first on the Jared Kesso as Kesso as Wolverine. Do you know who Jared Kesso is?
I don't. I knew who Norman Reedus was.
Okay, so I will let you talk about that, and I'll talk about Jared Kesso. So, Jared Kesso is on Letterkenny. I don't know if you heard of Letterkenny. So Letterkenny is a comedy. It's a Canadian comedy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yep.
Yes. And Wayne, the main character, played by Jared, he also writes and directs for the show and acts. That's who that is. I think he could be an excellent Wolverine. He's Canadian, right? So that works.
Cough it up.
I know, right? And he is in excellent shape.
Yeah.
So could fit that, because you can't have a Wolverine that's like 300 pounds and like fat. You need the Wolverine. Right?
He used to take his shirt off.
And yeah, and I think the face and everything, I really do think that he could pull out. Now, this would be the first thing that he would be doing that I'm aware of. The only thing I've ever seen him in is his own show, Letterkenny. It would be very different because it's not as comedic. But his character in Letterkenny is very sort of stoic and serious and sort of the voice of reason a lot of times too. And he's very respected in the town as well. And I think that kind of relates to Wolverine a lot, to where Wolverine isn't he's not always super approachable, right? But he also is like very sturdy, right? As a person. And he's one of those people that's like rough around the edges, but once you're in his camp, he's got your back. Like nobody. You know? Once you're in with him, once you're homies, like he'll protect you with his life. Ferociously. So I think that he could do a very good job with that. So you go ahead and speak on the other casting.
Norman is actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's in The Walking Dead. He plays a character called Daryl. I could see Norman definitely doing a good job as Ghost Rider. Now, I think when Ghost Rider first came out, it was played by Nicolas Cage, which I think.
So we've had Nicolas Cage, which is it is what it is.
Yeah,
we also had I forget the gentleman's name, but we did have in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. we did have a Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could work. Ghost Rider is going to be a tough one to get done right. You're going to have people who are very familiar with the source material to really get that done correctly, to be honest. Because he eventually gets in the skull, we're not really going to have to know about the face as much. Who Ghost Rider, the actor is really going to be who's going to be able to give the menace in the voice more than anything else. Because it'll be more voice acting than anything else, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a good analysis, to where, like, because of the character of Ghost Rider and the fact that you're going to want that flaming skull effect and all that stuff going on, that really having the voice and the graveler or whatever you really want to look for to stand out, that's going to really hit. But also CGI has come such a long way since Nicolas Cage did his version, that there's a lot more you can do even with the face, even if it is the skull, than that you might not have been able to do as well before. Moving on to Armed Atlas here, he asked about shorts.
Ooh, you were just talking to me about that.
I was. So he was asking if we like doing them as kind of YouTube meta right now. So we've done one short. I've done one short. They're very easy. You can do them right on your phone through the YouTube app and edit it right there on the phone. I don't really like how the editing is set up on the YouTube app. So my recommendation is to get, like, either just use your own phone's video and find like an outside editing software that you can have on your phone, or if you want to upload it on your computer and then do it that way. I think it's YouTube's idea of competing with TikTok. Now, my very basic understanding of YouTube Shorts is that, it's associated with YouTube, but it's not solely through YouTube. It's some kind of partner thing. So at first, YouTube was pushing the shorts very, very hard. So you could be an extremely small channel, post a short, and end up with like 500 to 1,000 views on a short, which, I mean, our best video that we've done has just north of 300 views, and we were ecstatic about it. So that would be huge for us. So I think they're great. I don't want to ramble on about shorts too long. I think they're great. I definitely recommend shorts. I have really been pushing both Dieter and EJ to just grab their phone and make a short and throw it up there, because they're quick and easy. I tried to be kind of funny with mine. But the beauty of them is that they're quick, and people's attention spans nowadays is all but non-existent. So if you can make a TikTok-esque video that's, something funny or informational, people will watch it, especially if it only takes them 15 to 30 seconds to finish the video. So moving on here. Ori says, Jared has the best sarcasm for Wolverine. I would agree with that. He could definitely portray some of those sarcastic marks and remarks. He's barrel chest and short too, says Bear. Yep, that also
he
fits.
loves his stature.
And his squinting look needs a bub.
Bub.
Yep, I like it. Boondog Saints 2. Ghost Rider 1 was okay. 2 not so much. And then Ori says Norman is dark and gritty and it could work. He's not intimidating though. And then Bear says, I mean, as Walking Dead fan, being threatened by Daryl is not on my to-do list.
I think he looks intimidating enough for the role. But like I said, so like it's his voice is going to matter the most anyway in that type of role. You know, so we'll see. I would still, of course, be super chill if Hugh Jackman made an appearance. I know he said he's not interested, or he said that
Hugh Jackman. I'm going to call my shot right now. Hugh Jackman is going to be in Multiverse of Madness.
I think he will be. I'm
just going to call my shot.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Live in front of all you people.
Yeah.
On the internet. See if I'm right. Roast me if I'm wrong.
I think so, and I think it makes sense. He fits the glove of Wolverine so well. I think we've only seen such perfect casting like that in like Heath Ledger Joker or like Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man. He really just fits the character so well. It's going to be really hard and tough for any actor to really come in his shoes and really kind of give out a really good performance. I think anything other than that will kind of, get some backlash, to be honest. You know?
I'm with you there. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you guys so much.
Sign off.
We almost did this for almost 2 hours. Same here.
So I keep.
I know he just keeps coughing it out.
Dying.
Yeah, just coughing it out. No, we really appreciated everything you guys have done this whole year. Well, last year technically, because we're in a new year now. We have so much more content to go out. We have a lot of changes going on in both our lives. We want to keep on pushing these things out. It was really great to kind of interact with all you guys in this medium of doing YouTube
our first
live.
ever live show. Thank you guys so much for being a part of it. Real quick before we sign off, I do want to talk about what's coming up in the future. So right now, live on the channel, we have our Spider-Man spoiler-filled review. I finished it, and it took all day to upload for some reason. I don't know why. YouTube was having a thing today for some reason, but it was supposed to be up last night at the latest, but ended up having to be done today for whatever reason. It's up there now. Go check that out.
Yeah.
I really had a good time with this video.
Had an excellent
time. Spent so many hours editing it. Please check it out. Tell me what you guys think. I just want to know that my work is worth it, I just want to know
do something.
I'm doing this for a reason. So please go check that out. Awesome time making that video. Yeah. Moving on into the next year, we're going to try and jump into like a new season. Really, we kind of already started our second season due to just the timing of when this channel really started. But we are going to try and change the look of some things. We are going to try and put out some more shorts. We are going to try and do more shorter content videos in general, because so far the majority of our content is like 45 minutes to 2 hours. And that's a lot to ask people to sit down and watch. So we want to diversify some more and still have nice long conversations, but also do some shorter content for you guys. Keep your eyes out for that. Thanks again for tuning in. EJ, I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
No.
I guess we can dip back into the chat one more time. Just make sure we shout everybody out and make sure.
Shout out to all the guys that really stuck around, like Bear, Armed Atlas, and
Ori.
Yeah, you guys all just made this such a fun experience. We were so worried that we would hop on here and only be talking to ourselves and maybe our moms. Thankfully, you guys showed up. Our moms stayed off.
I know, mom's bringing us on. What the heck, moms? We can call them right now. Come on, moms.
So, we're really super excited about that. And we can't wait to continue to kind of grow in this community and continue to connect with you guys over the next coming year. So much exciting stuff that happens next year. Like, we got the Batman, we got we got Multiverse of Madness, so a lot of different. Should
I tease the videos that we actually have on the back burner, or
sure?
Should we do it? Okay. All right. So I'll give you guys a little tease. So videos that we already have like ready to go, they just need to be edited and made to look pretty. We have a video coming out about how to get into comics.
Yes.
We are very excited about that video because myself, EJ, and I sat down, and Dieter, and we really dove into like, if you don't read comics right now, how can you get started? Where are the best mediums? What's the best place? Which comic should you pick up first? We really just dove into all that. discussion. We're very excited. That's my favorite video that we've done so far. I've told these guys multiple times. I was like, I just loved that we did that and that we had that conversation. That's going to be coming out. We did a Hulk. You guys did. I wasn't a part of this episode, but a Hulk retrospective. Which Hulk was it? The 2000?
Yeah, the Incredible Hulk. Starring. Oh gosh, what was the guy's name?
Not the MCU Hulk that was right before Banner.
The Incredible Hulk.
Yes. Yeah. So that's coming out, and we also have a video that we have discussed of a deep dive into Spider-Man that some of you guys are actually going to be a part of, where we're really going to talk about all things Spider-Man, and we're going to have lots of guests on for that episode. So deep dive into Spider-Man, which we're very excited about. Obviously, we'll be covering the new movies and shows coming out as they come out.
And also based on Bear the Nerdy's little comment that you're such a tease, Josh, and Armed Atlas is behave, Josh, we are definitely looking into getting an OnlyFans for Knights of the Nerds. That's our next venture.
Next step is some Knights of the Nerds.
We told you we were diversifying. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, trying to make some different length videos. And maybe some different content you haven't seen before.
Yeah, something very different.
Something a little different. Feet pics or something. I don't know. Atlas also said, we'd love to hear quick hot takes with raw emotion from you guys about comics news, nerd stuff drops, trailer reactions, new comic books, and or movie announcements. Shorts might be perfect for that. Yes. I mean, I agree. That's really what we want to do moving forward with those shorts. It's the quick reactions. That's great advice, and definitely something I've talked about these guys with, and hopefully we can get that going. Bear says, I think the whole X-Men team will get recast for the MCU, but if Hugh does show up, it would be awesome. I agree with you. I think Hugh is going to be a cameo and they recast everybody else. I think that makes the most sense. Atlas agrees with you as well. As far as the future, hope we can collab a lot. We'll make it happen for sure, says the Bear. Yes, we will. And then we've got Jory who comes on.
I don't know what that is.
Don't know what that says. You're probably a bot, maybe.
Swedish
I don't know.
Bots, Swedish
if
bots,
you're not,
Russian bots,
I'm sorry.
Most likely.
Thank you for watching.
Yes.
I don't know what language that is. Oh man. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say.
Please don't get.
I guess we'll sign off. On that note.
Well, we got some OnlyFans content to make, so we will catch you guys in a little bit. Thank you guys so much. All right.
Thank you so much for tuning in tonight.
Have a great year.
Table. We're gonna come up with a really cool sign on and sign off catchphrase. So if you guys have any ideas, night related, night themed, please let us know. Something cute we could say at the beginning.
Ori is apparently a PR consultant.
Ori, help us out with like a catchphrase, something like, I don't know, raise your goblets, swords out. I don't know. Swords out sounds kind of lame. We'll workshop it.
That's the OnlyFans one we're going to use. Swords out.
Swords out. Yeah, that'll be the OnlyFans. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to workshop that a little bit. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in.
All right. Talk to you guys later.